Hello and welcome to Let's Play Star Trek 25th Anniversary. This is a point-and-click adventure game developed by Interplay and released in 1992, close to, as you might expect, the 25th anniversary of the original Star Trek. This game was released both in a floppy and a CD-ROM version, the latter featuring voices of the entire original series cast, and that is the version I will be playing here. The game supports using the Roland MT32 for its music, so of course I will be using mine for these videos. So let's head on out to the 23rd century and boldly go. You know the rest. It takes a bit longer to load with an MT32 because it's sending programming data, and unfortunately, unlike Sierra games, it doesn't show anything on the MT32's display while it does that.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its mission? To explore strange new worlds, to discover new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Demon World.
Though the Enterprise's primary mission is peaceful exploration, the galaxy holds many surprises. To be prepared, we are conducting a mock battle with the USS Republic.
Captain Patterson reports the Republic is in position and ready to begin, Captain.
The Republic is arming weapons and raising shields. I suggest we do the same, Captain.
Raising shields. Arming weapons.
Yeah, one of the things this game is notorious for is its combat sequences. I will explain after I do this one. It immediately throws you in one. This is, however, the only one in the game that you are capable of losing without any ill effect. Those of you who have watched my Let's Plays know that I also played Star Trek The Next Generation of Final Unity, and spent a lot of time complaining about its combat. Combat in this game is a heck of a lot simpler, more kind of Wing Commander-like.
The computer estimates the Republic is crippled, Captain.
Wow, that was
Captain Patterson
easy.
extends his congratulations, sir.
Lowering shields and disarming weapons.
Message coming in from Starfleet.
On screen, Lieutenant.
Jim, the Enterprise is ordered to travel to Pollux V. The natives report that alien life forms have been attacking the settlers near a mine at Mount Idle. You are to report to the High Prelate of the colony. The settlers are members of the Acolytes of the Stars sect. The description of the attackers vary, but all say that the attackers resemble creatures from many Earth religions known as demons. Starfleet wants you to determine the nature of these creatures and to resolve the situation without bringing harm to the colonists. Starfleet out.
Alright, well, now that that's over with, I can actually talk a little bit about this game. The game is actually structured as several short episodes. It is not one big story, unlike Star Trek The Next Generation of Final Unity, which I already mentioned. This game is a bit older than that game, as you can no doubt tell by the graphics. And the first episode, if you want to call it that we're in right now is called Demon World. And it seems to have something to do with this planet we were just told about, where they are seeing creatures that resemble demons. And yeah, the game includes fighting, which, like I said, works a lot like Wing Commander, if you are familiar with that. Right down to the radar screen down here, basically having the same operation as that game. And it's not as bad as the final Unity was, in my opinion anyway. Oh, there's a planet there. I didn't even know that. We haven't gone anywhere yet, that's why. We were just here to do this mock battle. It's the only battle in the game that you can lose because you won't die if you do so. This was the easiest I have ever seen that battle, which is a bit weird. Usually I take at least some shots, but this time I got away entirely unscathed. It's actually kind of funny if you lose that battle, because either Spock or Uhura, I think, will comment on the computer estimating that the Enterprise's engines have exploded, and Scotty will be all distressed and go like, "Not my engines!" What? I don't know what that plan's doing. Like he didn't realize it was actually just a simulation. The way the UI works here on the bridge is normally you are trapped in the view screen. I'm pretty sure that planet's just flying all over the place. And your mouse controls the ship. Again, like Wing Commander, if you are using mouse controls, which is pretty terrible in that game. So, there are 3 displays at the top here. The middle one shows your power at the top, and the little squares on the right there show whether or not you're using emergency power. And the bar below it shows your speed, which is controlled with the number keys as well as the tilde key. If you hit tilde, you go in reverse. 1 stops you, and numbers 2 through 0 increase your speed, which red showing the speed that you have set, and green the speed that you're actually at, which shows you there is some delay there. Generally, if you're going at a slower speed, you can turn more easily, but you will also be a sitting duck. Display on the left shows the status of your phasers, and the display on the right the status of your photon torpedoes. Right now they are not active because we lowered our weapons after the battle. You control various functions of the Enterprise by talking to the related crew member. For example, if we talk to Scotty, we can tell him to do damage controls on various systems like the shields, the phasers, photon torpedoes, sensors, the bridge, the shuttle bay, and the engines. And you will be able to see what is damaged on these displays on the side here. Oh, well, if I'm in this mode, I can actually point at the entire screen. That's nice. These displays normally show the Enterprise. You can't switch them over to show the enemy ship. Unfortunately, you cannot switch them to show both at the same time, which is kind of annoying. And the other thing Scotty can do is activate emergency power, which in a pinch can give you a little bit more power to your engines and sensors. Usually if I get to the point where I remember to do that, I am almost dead. Yeah, normally if you're in this mode, like you switch with tab between the view screen and the bottom of the screen, and you can't go to the top of half of the screen now. We can talk to Sulu to either enter standard orbit or raise the shields. Can talk to Chekhov to navigate somewhere and arm the weapons. We can talk to Spock to either get advice or use the library computer. We can talk to Uhura to hail somebody. And finally, we can talk to ourselves, I guess, to either see the captain's log, beam down, or access the game's menu, which just gives us a save and a load and a way to turn music and sound effects off, as well as control the subtitles. Captain's log isn't very interesting, you might think. It just gives you a overview of the previous missions and how you did, which right now should be nothing.
Captain's log.
And it's not even voiced, it just gives you text. No recent missions have been completed. And everything, or almost everything I just said, can actually be done with the keyboard as well. So you can raise shields with the S, arm weapons with the W. I already explained how you can change speed. You can access damage control with the D, emergency power with the E. You can talk to Spock with the T, access the computer with the C, hail other ships with the H. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, and of course, one thing that's very useful to know during battles is with the V key, you can expand the view screen to fill the entire screen. This doesn't actually magnify it though, you actually get a wider field of view, which means it's easier to shoot at enemy ships if they are in your view. Which is what I was doing during the battle. Alright, well that's about it. We were told to go to the Pollux system and check out these alleged demons. So we should probably go there. Or actually, we should probably find out about it. Most of the time this isn't entirely necessary, but some places in the game you actually need to do this. So you can find out about things by using the computer with Spock, which lets you enter any random topic you might be interested in. So we can find out about the Enterprise, for example.
USS Enterprise, Federation Constitution class starship, currently commanded by Captain James T. Kirk, on the 4th year of a 5-year mission of exploration. Its first officer is Mr. Spock. Its registration number is NCC 1701.
And yeah, they are all read by that computer voice, which, while pretty true to the original series, is also very annoying to listen to, so I will not go and just go into random entries here. Maybe I will do, if people are interested, maybe I will do a little bonus video where I can look at some computer entries in the floppy version, which does not have the annoying voice, and also has a lot more stuff in the computer than the CD version did. I think to make space they had to remove some of the entries and mainly just kept the ones that are related to the actual game. So one of the things we can look at now is our destination, Pollux.
Pollux V system, an inhabited satellite of Pollux V. Pollux V has lately emerged from an ice age caused by large meteor strikes. It has recently been colonized by the acolytes of the star's religious sect. The planet is home to a wide variety of plant life, but insects and other lower life forms are the only known animals.
Okay. We can also get some info on that sect that's supposed to be there.
Acolytes. Fully acolytes of the stars. Inspired by old human religions, the Acolytes of the Stars are a group of deists that have colonized several worlds in this quadrant. The Acolytes prefer a relatively primitive lifestyle, reminiscent of mid-21st century Earth rural communities. Acolyte missionaries regularly assist nearby Federation worlds during times of need or disaster. Major Acolyte settlements are Nicolasi on Pollux V, Germania on Maddox 2, and Kentigern on Haven's World.
Alright, so let's look up that settlement, Nicolasi.
Nicolasi, chief colony of the Acolytes of the Star's religious sect, with over 1,000 members. Nicolasi is isolationist by Federation standards, but has assisted disaster relief teams and geologic surveys. It is led by Robert Angevin.
Okay, it sounds like they are nice, at least, if they give aid and disaster relief and stuff like that. Let's look up the leader.
Robert Angevin. Fully High Prelate Robert Everett Engevin. As High Prelate of the Acolytes of the Stars, see Acolytes. On Nicolasi, Robert Engevin serves as political and spiritual leader for that religious colony. Engevin is the acting Federation contact on that world, and is considered by Federation diplomats to be a fair and capable leader.
Good to know. Also, did the computer just switch how to pronounce Nicolasi to Nicolasi? Even in the 21st century, text-to-speech has not yet been perfected. I believe we can also look up demons, although that is kind of pointless.
Demon. Mythological term for malevolent supernatural entities in the service of the devil, common in many mythologies and religions, most notably Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and Hinduism.
In case you didn't know. Alright then, I think that's quite enough of having to listen to that. And it told us most of what we needed to know to get ready for this mission. Spock have any advice, actually?
I advise referring to the star map and setting a course for the Pollux system, sir.
Well, that is a fairly obvious thing to do. So let's tell Chekhov to navigate. Most of the time I will be doing all of this stuff with the keyboard later on, but right now I'm just going to show you how to do it with the mouse. So yeah, you get a star map, and as you can tell, it is not labeled. That is because this was the game's copy protection. The actual labeled star map is in the manual. And if you go to the wrong place, you will most often be forced to fight some enemy, and some of those fights are ridiculously unfair. I believe that's something a Final Unity actually also did. If you went to a random star system, you would end up having to fight. Right now we have to go to the Pollux system, which, according to the manual's star map, which if you buy this game from GOG, is provided as an image file, so that's nice. Which is strangely a different version than the actual manual I have of the CD version that I have in the box. Anyway, according to that map, this here is Pollux, so let's go there.
We have arrived at Pollux V.
Alright. So, Mr. Sulu, standard orbit.
Entering standard orbit.
And Uhura, please hail the planet.
Message from High Prelate Robert Angevin, sir.
Welcome, Enterprise. The High Prelate awaits you. Please, beam down and meet with him.
This game, didn't even try to do lip sync. It's completely random lip movements that have nothing to do with the speech. And it's not just because of how old the game is, because Sierra was doing perfect lip sync at this time. So they could have, they just didn't. Any more advice, Mr. Spock?
Pollux V has recently emerged from an ice age, sir. It's spring at the moment, cool but tolerable. Sensors indicate previously documented flora and fauna. Nothing unusual.
Alright, good to know. Which means that it is probably safe for us to beam down. Which we do from Kirk's option, as I said before.
Spock, come with me. Mr. Scott, you have the con.
You do not get the opportunity to choose your own away team here. The away team...
This is so much better, gentlefolk. We are honored at your presence, and hope you will find peace here in our haven.
Wait, we're in Haven?
Captain, the flora on this planet is very interesting. I wonder how useful it may be for medicinal purposes.
Interesting. Is this Haven? Is Akinar here? I hope not. Looks like kind of a nice place. Foresty, some snow. I'd probably enjoy it here. Anyway, like I was saying, you do not get to choose your own away team. It is always Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and some random red shirt. And the random red shirt is, in fact, different on every mission. Because on quite a few missions, the random red shirt can die depending on what you do. That's why they're random red shirts, after all. That's their job. Hazard pay on that must be ridiculous if you're a Starfleet security officer. It is kind of a shame that they always use Kirk, Spock, and McCoy on the missions. I think that's something the sequel, Star Trek Judgment Rights, mixes up a little bit. Because in this game it means that the rest of the original crew doesn't really have anything to do other than stuff on the Enterprise and occasional message on the communicator. They don't get an awful lot of lines. The interface works like most point-and-click games with a slight twist. So you right-click, bring up this menu, where you can choose what you want to do. It kind of works like full throttle, actually. This brings up the menu where you can save and load, like before. Then you can either look, talk, use, or take. If you go to use, it will show the inventory icon on the top left of the screen. Actually, it will do that also if you go to look. And show the contents of your inventory. If you click on that, we have, it looks like we have two phasers, but it's actually just a phaser on stun and a phaser on kill. Presumably the same phaser, just with two different settings.
1 Starfleet Regulation Phaser Type 1, set to stun. 1 Starfleet Regulation Phaser Type 1, set to full power.
Indeed. And then we have a tricorder.
1 Starfleet Issue Science Tricorder, a science officer's best friend.
A medical tricorder, that's a little doohickey that McCoy had with his tricorder, if you remember.
1 Starfleet Issue Medical Tricorder to assure that Starfleet doctors make the correct diagnosis.
A communicator.
1 Starfleet Issue Communicator to allow landing parties to talk with their shipmates in normal circumstances.
But not in abnormal circumstances, I guess. And a medical kit.
1 Starfleet Issue Medical Kit.
You can most times use the communicator to talk to the ship, although usually there's very little point.
Nothing to report, Captain.
And you'll just get that. Let's look around. We can actually look at our characters, and I believe that pretty much every single screen in the game will give you a different message for that. I'll see how many of those I actually want to show.
James Tiberius Kirk, Captain of the Enterprise. He's always happy to run an errand of mercy.
Wait, wasn't that an episode title?
Spock raises an eyebrow. Ensign Everts, who has never been this close to snow before in his life, gazes with childlike fascination at the ground. Dr. Leonard McCoy, the finest doctor in Starfleet, wishes that he were on a warmer planet.
I bet he does. We can actually also talk to them. And actually, like in on the bridge where everything can be done with the keyboard, that's also the case here. So if I want to talk, I can actually just hit T rather than do the right-click thing.
This planet's as beautiful as everyone says it is.
The trees, the fresh air, the freezing cold.
Come on, Bones. The cold will improve your circulation.
Some people get too much circulation.
I just love the way this game does the banter between the crew. It is so true to the original series. It's like it just captures the feel of it so incredibly well, especially with the voice acting, and it's just awesome to hear these characters in a computer game, especially back then when voice was still a novelty in a game. And yeah, they all sound way older than they did in the 60s, obviously. But it does not matter, it's still awesome to hear them, especially considering quite a few of them have died by now.
Captain, demons and supernatural creatures are, almost by definition, illogical. Yet it is evident these people believe what they have seen. Barring illness or mass hysteria, I agree that a real problem seems to exist.
Doctor, you need to investigate the possibility of disease, mental or physical, among these people before we go chasing up the mountains. Prelate and Given, may we see those who have encountered the demons.
They are already gathered in the chapel and will cooperate in any way with you. First door on my right.
I've never seen snow like this before. This is great.
You mean you've never built a snowman, Ensign?
I've never even thrown a snowball. Do you think anyone would mind?
Well...
Later, Ensign, we have work to do.
Of course, sir.
This ensign isn't very professional, is he? And I bet Dr. McCoy would mind.
I don't know if the problem is real, the result of a new illness, or mass hysteria. But at the very least, there's an injured miner who needs my help.
Indeed. Actually, let's be nice and introduce ourselves before we do anything else.
I'm Captain James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. We have received word that alien life forms are creating problems at your mining facilities at Idle Mountain. Tell me more.
And yes, occasionally you get dialogue choices in this game. And they will all be read as soon as you display them. You do not have to select them first to hear them spoken aloud. Let's see what choices we have.
Most High Prelate and Given, I am honored to meet you. I consider it my divine duty to assist you in any possible way with the spawn of the devil.
That's a little bit over the top. I think Kirk is probably not that religious.
Been seeing ghosts and boogeymen, eh? I find that a little hard to believe.
And yeah, occasionally some of the options just let you be a complete dick.
I'm Captain James T. Kirk of
Let's
the
just
USS
go with this
Enterprise.
one.
Certainly, Captain Kirk. Not aliens per se. We have encountered what we believe are demons at Idle Mountain. Creatures surely emerging from the very gates of hell. Our God would not test us thus without reason. So we believe your might and insight are our God's method to help us discover what is going on.
Aside from seeing demons, has any hard data been collected? Any evidence I could see?
That sounds like a reasonable thing to say.
Demons, gates of hell, this is the 23rd century.
It's probably what he wants to say, but it's not very diplomatic.
Aside from seeing demons, has any hard data been collected? Any evidence I could see?
And well, you do not get renegade points for being an asshole. You do actually get scored on these missions on how well you do. And, you know, being rude to the locals isn't something Starfleet appreciates, so your score will be lower. And that score actually serves a purpose, which we'll get to later. Let's just be nice.
A skeptic would consider everything merely anecdotal or unproven. My people will gladly tell you their own stories, so you need not hear it secondhand through me.
What can you tell me about the mine itself? You're wasting the time of a starship capable of destroying this planet with campfire stories? No wonder you were dumped out here in the middle of nowhere.
Shatner probably had fun reading these lines.
What can you tell me about the mine itself?
The area is exceptionally stable tectonically, and easy for our machinery to work in, praise God. We've mined for hafnium and a variety of useful trace elements. The deeper we dig, however, the more anomalous the variety of minerals seems to be. Our Ignatiate brother Stephen has his own theories about why this might be. Either way, the anomalies inspired Brother Candray to conduct studies inside the mine. Yesterday, he reported discovering a strange door. A gate to hell, surely, for the demons caused a cave-in immediately. Candray was trapped, unconscious, and the demons prevent us from rescuing him. We can only hope he is still alive. Thank you for your courtesy, Kirk. May you receive the guidance and protection of our God as you complete this divine mission.
And yeah, on text boxes like that have more than one screen, I have to manually scroll down to match the text, to match the speech, which I can do with the page up and page down buttons. I don't have to do that with the mouse. Well, let's see if we can figure out where these demons are coming from, and if they are indeed actual demons, in the next video.